What's going on, guys? Emmy here, and today I'm doing the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro unboxing. The 12, and this is the 12 Pro. Of course, need the 20-watt charger because that's not included in the box. So Apple claimed the reason they didn't include a power adapter or headphones in the box is to be environmentally friendly, which the box is 70% smaller, but it's probably due to the addition of 5G and some other features in the phone that they needed to cut down on costs. So they were like, no power adapter, no headphones. Cut down on that $50, increase their profit margin, keep the phone the same price. To the side, and as you can see, it is a Lightning to USB-C adapter, and that's basically it. It's essentially the exact same for the Pro, and this is the iPhone 12 Pro. This is the graphite model, and the 12 is the black model, right here. As you can see, it's a much more square design. These are the black and graphite versions. All the models are right here. So you can see the two cameras on the non-Pro model are the ultra-wide and the wide, and the Pro model has the telephoto lens, which essentially allows for wider shots or further away shots because it has a 5x optical zoom. So if you have a really far away shot that you want to be able to capture, you definitely want to go with the Pro. One of the other major improvements is in low light. So both of these use optical image stabilization, one on one camera on the 12 and on two cameras on the Pro. But on the Pro Max, it actually has sensor shift image stabilization, which actually means that the sensor moves up and down and left and right, so in two axes, and that allows for very smooth video. Android has been doing this for a while, but you know, when Apple comes out with a product, they tend to master it. And this is the power adapter, as you can see. So if you want fast charging with 20 watts, you're going to want to go with this. So as you can see, this is a USB-C, and it is a 20-watt power adapter, which is what you want if you want your phone to charge faster, of course. There's OnePlus that did a 75-watt charger, and there's a bunch of other Android devices that have gone up to even 90 watts and stuff that's close to being the limit of what you can actually bring on an airplane. What that does is that it may charge your phone much faster, but you can see around a 30% degeneration in the battery over a year, which Apple, tends to avoid those kinds of risks. This is the Pro model. Let's just boot it up. And here we go. Hello. Let's just set this up. So comparing the 11 and the 11 Pro, as you can see, they're both 6.1-inch displays, and as you can see, the physical difference is that one of them has a matte glass back, and the 11 has a glossy back. As you can see, it already has a bunch of fingerprints just from very minimal usage, and as well as the screens are actually the same. So they're both 6.1 OLED displays, and in an OLED screen, each pixel is controlled individually, and that's what separates it from LCD or other kinds of displays, where you can see that the blacks are going to be darker because you can physically turn off each one. So comparing the two different sides, on the Pro, it is stainless steel, glossy, and this one is aluminum, more of a matte finish. So you're gonna have the difference between the sides and the back. They're basically flipped. So one's glossy on here, one's matte on here, and then glossy on the sides on the Pro, and at over here. So the LiDAR sensor in the Pro is used for depth detection in low light environments, and if you're trying to do any AR or any of that kind of stuff, you're going to have much better depth detection, which should result in better portrait modes and better low light pictures. So the difference between them is that there is a night mode portrait on the Pro, which actually is not on the 12. So the cameras are great. Let's talk about battery. So both of these have a 2775 milliamp hour battery, and which is actually less than the 11 and the 11 Pro batteries, but Apple still advertises the same battery life because their processor is actually 30% more power efficient. So theoretically, the batteries should be the same as the 11 and 11 Pro. So since both of these have the A14 Bionic chip, they should have relatively similar speeds. And however, the non-Pro model has 4 gigabytes of RAM, and the Pro model has 6 gigabytes of RAM. So let's just compare the YouTube app. Open these at the time. And the non-Pro actually loaded up faster, but maybe my speed wasn't the same on both. Let's try Google. And very, very similar speeds on both of them. So MagSafe is a big thing. You've probably heard about it on the news or Apple advertising or anything. It's essentially the same thing as wireless charging, just with a magnet, and it's a little bit faster than what you would usually get. It's interesting to think from a marketing perspective on how Apple is, trying to compare these different models to iPhones, and you're like, oh, the new model has a magnet. So for people that aren't as technologically informed, they might not, know the difference between the two, and they're like, oh, everybody loves magnets, so the 12 might be better. So on the 12, you will have 64 gigabytes and 4 gigabytes of RAM just for the base model, and on the 12 Pro, you will have 128 gigabytes and 6 gigabytes of RAM for the base model. So let's talk about pricing. So here are the unlocked prices in USD and in Canadian without any taxes. Keep in mind, you can always trade in a previous model. You can get it through your carrier for a little bit cheaper. You can even finance it on the Apple website. Apple is doing a big thing where they're financing basically anything from their store. You can even finance, one of the power bricks or any of that kind of stuff. So I have all 4 models here. This is the 11, 11 Pro, 12, and 12 Pro. So you can do some quick comparison. You can see they're all different colors, so that's pretty cool, but we can do some speed comparisons. As you can see, this is the 11 and the 12. So one was more of a rounded, that's the 11, and the 12 is obviously a boxy design. So we can do a quick comparison. Let's try the YouTube app. So very, very marginal improvements, but it's the best you can really do, or up there anyways. And for this is the 11 Pro and the 12 Pro. So as you can see, the 11 Pro was a 5.8 inch screen, but all of these are 6.1 inch. And if you get the 12 mini, that'll be 5.4 inches, which is one of the smallest iPhones in a very long time, smaller than the 8 actually, that will be dropping in November. And you can compare the 11 Pro and the 12 Pro. So let's just open up the YouTube app. And as you can see, the 12 Pro is a little bit faster, but it's also marginal improvement. So comparing them on the YouTube app, here's just one of the reviews.
What's up YouTube, I'm here, and today I'm reviewing the August EP650. Now these are pretty good headphones, under $55 Canadian.
And as you can see, this is kind of the difference between the screens of all of them. One thing that's certainly underwhelming is the lack of the 120 hertz refresh screens. So if you are comparing the screens from the previous models, it'll seem the same smoothness just because they are 60 hertz refresh screens. If you transfer over to 120 hertz, it's night and day. The difference is very noticeable. But overall, seems like a good product from Apple with small improvements over the last year's models, and that's just how companies make money, so it's kind of expected. I would say if you have an iPhone 8 or older, then if you upgrade, you would definitely notice the difference. Otherwise, you're not missing out on too much. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I might be doing a more in-depth review if that's requested, and leave your comments down below. Make sure to get back to you. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in later video.